Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Nepal Tech Hub, and today in this video we'll learn about how to create a EC2 instance from the scratch. So first of all, to create a EC2 instance, as you already know that create EC2 instance will be launched inside the VPC by default. Here in this video we'll create our own VPC and then attach IGW internet gateway, and then after we'll create the subnet, and it's going to be the public subnet, and we will have the security group for the instance label for our EC2 instance. For the public network connection to our EC2 instance, route the traffic via route table to the internet gateway. So that we need to create route table, and our subnet will be public, and inside the security we will open SSH port 22 just in case if we need to SSH to our EC2 instance. So let's get started. Okay, let's head to our dashboard, and on the search bar on the top you can search for the VPC. Then you can see the VPC on the top. Click. Then on your left hand side you can see your VPCs. Click on your VPCs, and on the right top corner you can see the create VPC. Click in there, and now we're going to create our VPC. Give the name. You have to give your CIDR block so that how many IP addresses can be created inside the CIDR block. So the 16 will give you the highest IP addresses in there. So I'll give 10.0.0.0 by 16, and don't forget to give the name. So you don't have to give the tag. It's not required. It's optional. You can see on the top is successfully created. The VPC has been successfully created. Now let's search for the subnet, or you can just go from the left side of the VPCs. As you can see on the subnet underneath your VPCs, hit in the top right corner, create subnet. A VPC ID, because subnet is will create inside the VPC, so you need to have your VPC created first, and then you will give your VPC ID, and you will create the subnet inside the VPC. I'm giving the name my public subnet, and from here you have to select the availability zone. Give you the CIDR block again. So it's going to be IPv4 CIDR block. Now I'll give you 10.0.0.0 by 24. Few IP addresses inside the subnets because I don't need much. I'll just have one EC2 instance inside the subnet. So now you can see on the top is successfully created. The subnet has been successfully created. We created the subnet, but just giving the name public subnet doesn't make it public, so we have to explicitly make it public. So go on the action. So first click the subnet and go on the action and hit edit subnet. From here, so you see auto assign IP settings on the second. You have to enable that. Whatever you assign inside the subnet will give the public IP addresses to the instances or any resources that you create inside the subnet. The changes has been successfully made. Now it's time for us to get to the internet gateway. So from the left corner you can see on the top right corner create internet gateway. Click there, name tag, so you can give my internet gateway or whatever you want to give the name. Just simply hit create internet gateway. That's all. Now you can see on the top right corner, though it is successfully created, you say attach to a VPC. So internet gateway requires to attach to the VPC in order to get to the public internet. So hit attach to the VPC and then select the VPC in which VPC you want to attach. Select from the down arrow and then attach internet gateway. Now you can see the internet gateway has been successfully attached to our VPC. Now we'll have the public internet connection to our VPC. Now it's time for us to route the traffic from our EC2 instance, which will be creating inside the subnet, to the internet gateway from route table. So hit the route tables under the subnet from your left side, and then you can see on the top by default there is already one route table, but that's a default for the internal resources and internal communication. But for us, we need to communicate with the public internet. We need to customize our route table. So you have to create route table from the right corner, top right corner, and the name again, public route table or my first route table, whatever you want to give the name. And the second thing, you have to select the VPC and create route table, because these will go inside the VPC. Now it's time for us to select the route traffic. So which will be our source and the destination. So here our source will be from anywhere we can listen, because we are accepting the public internet, public network traffic. So we will accept from everywhere. We'll listen to any source, and we will guide it towards our internet gateway. And the save changes. And on the top you can see the green bar says that public route table has been successfully installed. Okay, now after that you can see both active on the status. Now it's time for us to associate the subnet, because we don't have the subnet ID. So we need to edit subnet association. Select the public subnets, then save association. Now we have successfully route from our subnet via route table to our internet gateway. It's time for us to create the EC2 instance inside our subnet. On the top search bar, go search for the EC2, and you will see the EC2 on the top. So we don't have any instances launched, and it's not running as well. And from the top right corner you can hit the launch instances and give the name to your instance. I'm giving my first instance as the name of my instance. Scroll a little bit further, and you don't have to select anything else, just leave it by default. If you want to change, if you have your AMI ID, then you can just do it. But here is the deal. Now you have to click on the create a key pair, because this is your first time. You can create your key pair so that you can SSH into your instances later on. The key pair is required. You can do either .ppk or .pom extension and give the name to your key pair. It will download it. So I have it downloaded in my desktop. And for the networking, you can see there it's already associated with our public IP addresses. And the security group, we are listening to anywhere. So on the SSH traffic, so we are listening to anywhere, which is not recommended by AWS, but for our demo I'll just leave it by default, and I'll just listen to anywhere so that it will be easy for us to SSH. Or you can just allow your own IP addresses from there. Instead of anywhere, you can use the drop down arrow and select your own IP addresses. And the last thing I'll do is launch instance on the right side, and just give a second. It will take a little bit of time. And if you want to configure anything for bidding a lot or connect to the instance directly, connect to RDS database, then you can do it from here as well. But first you have to give a minute so that instance will come up in the running stage. Let's refresh the page, and you can see it's running. It's already in the running state. Let's connect to our instance. Let's make sure that instance is properly configured. First, let's see the metadata of our instances. Click on the instance, then you'll see all the details of the instance. You can see their IPv4 address. That's we already have the public IP address. And now to connect, you can hit on the connect to instance from the top bar, and you can see the EC2 instance connection option, and you can do the SSH client as well. You can see on the right side. For us right now, we're just gonna connect from this EC2 instance connect. Now you can see my EC2 instance is there. Now I'll type who am I, and it's supposed to show me the EC2 user. There you go. We have just created the EC2 instance with our own custom created VPC, subnet, and internet gateway. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any question, please drop down in the comment section. I'll get soon to help you out with the answers. Thank you so much, guys.